Hey guys, I'm gonna do a review for you now on the Topeak rear pack. So here it is. This actually is within this, and I'm gonna show you guys how to first set up and take this down, and then I'll do a review after this on this versus the Ortlieb rear pack and my thoughts about them. So how you set this up, most rear packs are very similar and set up pretty much the same way. So this goes on the seat rails here. So there's one here, and actually it clips to there. I think that's right. And then tighten that down, and then just do the same on the other side. Stick this strap through, hooks on to this side, and then in the middle you've got a Velcro strap. Put that in, put this through the hook, wrap it around, and that's it, you're set. I grab this here. So for the inner pouch part, so there is an inner pouch that goes with this, and just for the sake of the video, I'm gonna use my tent to throw in here, fold this down, buckle it, and just like the front pack, the rear pack has a vacuum so you can get all the air out. So we'll just roll this down, clip it like so. Get all the extra air out. Tighten it up. And then this part slides right in, like so. And then you kind of fold this over a few times to get it tight. And then these straps are adjustable. It's got like a flip. Buckle it in, you can pull it down to tighten it. Snap that tight. We'll do the same thing on the other side. And that's it. That's how you set up the Topeak rear pack. You could, of course, if you need to make it higher, this strap can be tightened as well. So just tighten that up on each side, and that's it. So I've been able to lift it up a little bit higher from my rear tire. Now to take it off, pretty simple deal. So if you were just camping, you might not have to take out the whole thing. You could always keep it set up on your bike if you want to, and remove this pack like so. And but if you're taking the whole thing off, just unsnap those. Get these out of the rails and unwrap that. Oh, come on, guys. There we go. And voila, easy peasy. So I'm going to now do a side-by-side comparison of the Topeak rear pack with the Ortlieb rear pack. That's a soft pack as well. So kind of give a rundown on my thoughts of both of them, the advantages and disadvantages of each of them. Right, so I'm going to show you guys these packs side by side. So this is the Ortlieb soft pack, and here is the Topeak soft pack. Look at the back. They both have the kind of holes here that you can put a light on, so that's great. They both have the same safety. This has the reflective things, but I don't know that those make much difference, to be honest, but I like that they have the light attachment. So first and foremost, I'm gonna do first things I like a little bit more about the Ortlieb pack versus the Topeak pack, and then I'm gonna talk about the benefits of the Topeak pack. So Like I said, they're very, very similar thing. Most packs are. The one thing about the Ortlieb pack is it is 100% waterproof, this whole thing. This is a water resistant pack, and then this bag that slides into it is 100% waterproof. Kind of the disadvantage of this with Topeak, for me in my opinion, is that this is so much more narrower, and I didn't feel like I got to utilize all the space of the pack with filling this. So I ended up instead kind of like adding some things on the side that I wasn't worried about getting wet. So like I put clothes or whatever in here, but if there are things that I didn't really care about, I could put them on the side. Whereas Ortlieb, it's 100% waterproof. There's not extra pack, of course, so you don't really have to worry about that. And it felt easier to use the full space in that way. And then like the other disadvantage I would say that for me of the Topeak bag is that this bag, just like the front pack of theirs I reviewed, I feel like this material, it's waterproof, but it just feels more fragile and more easily, like one could rip it more easily. And so I wish the material of this bag was more durable. And the Ortlieb bag does have a little bit more durable material. I actually did poke a hole in my front pack bag with one of like a little thing from my tent, poked it and poked a hole, so I have to patch it. But so that's something I didn't like about the Topeak bag. One other comment I would make is if you look, these both have these straps that can you can add stuff. So I like to put my rain jacket a lot on top, because then if it starts to rain, it's easy to access. I can grab it and put it on. And they're both pretty much the same. The one difference though is Ortlieb's, if you look at it here, is more like these hooks and you can unattach them. Whereas Topeak has this material and it's kind of all wrapped in it. The one cool thing about the Ortlieb is with those cords, if you don't want to keep all three attached, like you have something that might be a little bit bigger and you need more space, so you can just put two of these and remove the other two. And you can't really do that with this unless you untie it and just unthread two of them. It's more time consuming. So that's one thing those are the few things I like a little bit more about the Ortlieb pack. Now I'm gonna get into the details of this pack and why, even though this has some features I like, I think I actually do like the Topeak pack and would recommend purchasing this pack as compared to the Ortlieb. I've used the Ortlieb on many different tours. While I don't have as much time experience with this, I have taken it on several trips. And there's just some things about this pack that I like a lot more in terms of its structure. So the straps on both of these are both pretty durable, that go to the saddle, like the rails. They're both pretty durable, but I almost feel like Topeak's is more durable. My friend was using this pack on a ride we did, and the bolts that this came with, the saddle he was riding wasn't necessarily good for the seat soft packs, which I didn't know before we got there. And I think we just put too much pressure on this and it actually broke during our endurance race. And luckily it happened during or at a location where there was a hardware store there. So I went and bought a screw and a wing nut and put it back together. Whereas this one is sewn on. You know, I don't know that this would always happen with Ortlieb. It's partly a user fail. But these straps just seem a little bit more durable. It has an obvious, trying to feel the inside. It has a really good, there's some other hard thing in there that's keeping this all together too. So it seems like a very good construction. There's two things I absolutely despise about the Ortlieb pack. So this pack, it has a little bit more tougher material on the side, and they have these harder pieces on the outside of this part to make the end kind of stiff. And then if you compare that with the Topeak, they have the stiffer sides too. There's stiff material in there, but they have the stiffer bottom. And with this pack, if you do not pack this to an absolute perfection where there's zero space, during my endurance race, I think we stopped about 355 times to repack the pack because it would have a little bit of air just not be packed right, and then it would bend like that, and then it would sag on your tire. And you can even see I accidentally tore a hole in it there because it hit my tire. And it's just something about this pack that drives me crazy. Because it's just, I think you either can't be holding a lot, or, which then, like, why make a pack this big and sell it if you can't hold enough stuff in it? Or, like, they just need to firm up the bottom. So I decided with the Topeak when I tested it that I was going to do the crappiest pack job I could because I really wanted a good assessment, and I even put heavier stuff at the end. And I was like, I rode it for 40 miles and I did not have any problems. This part it's not an overly sturdy, it's not like stiff, it's just enough to not allow random spaces in between your gear or your clothes or whatever cause it to collapse. So I love that aspect of this. I also kind of feel like their straps to hook to are a little bit further back maybe, so it also kind of holds up your stuff a lot more. That's just one of my main beefs with the Ortlieb soft pack. And after my endurance race where I had to stop so many times and I felt like we lost tons of time on that, I was ready to throw this in the garbage when I got home. I see other people using them and maybe they just have better packing skills than I do, but it's something I really dislike about the Ortlieb soft pack. The other feature that I very much like about this pack as opposed to the Ortlieb soft pack is that, so I told you there is some stiff material on the sides here. On the inside, you can, I don't know if you can hear it. So there is that. But then right here, where it goes around the seat post, there's nothing. So you can tell it's indented where, like that, the material falls in where it should be around your seat post, which makes perfect sense. And then put it on and it stays and it's wonderful. Wonderful. However, the Ortlieb pack at the end here, it is stiff. And I don't know if you can get a good look at it. It is flat almost, but it's not even flat. It's rounded almost. So round against round is not very good. And when you put it on your seat post, on every trip I've done with this, once you get it on your seat post, every time it turned a little bit for me. So choose a side and it would just turn and stay slightly turned to that side. And it was super annoying. Would rub my inner thigh and I just was over it. So actually even just having these experiences with this made me, it was lucky it just happened coincidentally that I was asked to review some of Topeak stuff, and I'm very happy I did because I wanted a new experience with a new pack because I had become very frustrated with the Ortlieb rear pack. One of the other kind of cool features I like about this pack is that there's this little pocket here, so when your straps are tight and it's longer, you can tuck them up into here so that your straps aren't dangling down and they don't get wrapped up in your spokes or anything like that. So that's a really nice feature as well. Let me think what else I'm missing. So I will say I wish more of it was waterproof, but again, it works out if you fill the side with other stuff. And I don't know, overall I really do like the Topeak pack, rear pack. Like I said, I've done a lot with this one, but the repacking thing wasn't new. It was something I always dealt with. It just became ultimately super frustrating on my last trip. So in my opinion, some of the things like, you know, the straps and the fact that this is the only waterproof part and this is just water resistant. I mean, that kind of stuff is small things that don't necessarily interrupt your biking expeditions. Whereas I felt like with Ortlieb, the stuff I was experiencing was just me having to constantly get off my bike to fix it or rubbing against my leg and annoying me and just making for a not pleasant bike ride and trip. So because of that, I can deal with a few little like this isn't unattached, but like that's a small thing versus having your bike rides interrupted constantly. So overall with the rear pack, I really like the Topeak pack better. I recommend it. I love this construction and helping to keep things upwards and not falling on my wheel. So I would recommend, I'm gonna keep using this for, I've got another camp out coming soon and I'm excited. I'm gonna use this the whole time, but I think for now I'm sticking with the Topeak. I'm really liking it and recommend you check it out. Thank you, Topeak.